Hello guys, welcome back to the UX Kitchen. Now this time it's a special episode because I'm here in Washington DC in a WeWork office. I want to talk about portfolios. UX portfolios, UI portfolios, what are the do's, what are the don'ts? So let's jump right in. I've been interviewing a lot of designers because I'm working on a new awesome UX UI training platform, but more on that in an upcoming video. The thing is, I ran into a lot of UX portfolios and designer portfolios, and I'm often asked to give feedback. There's like a lot of designers who are struggling to how to build up the portfolio, what software to use, what projects to include. Is this like too much text? Is it not enough text? How to showcase their talent basically. So my first advice, you have to make sure that everything is pretty in your portfolio. You cannot sell yourself without the visual impact. It's hard to swallow if you're a UX designer, if you're a strategist, or so not really the UI. That's not my role, that's not my responsibility. Most of the time, when like the employers and the designers who are hiring you or clients if you're a freelancer, they look for the visually outstanding stuff first. Because what catches your eye in a portfolio? Obviously, the beautiful mock-ups and the UI designs and all that. And sometimes I see portfolios where they want to showcase, for example, their business skills, to showcase their thought process. But if it's not pretty, if the document itself is not something that, like according to Steve Jobs, you would want to lick it, then it doesn't have that visual impact. It's like a website that users, in this case employees and hiring people and HR people, they make up their minds very quickly and may not spend a lot of time reviewing a portfolio if it doesn't look promising. So my advice is always be very critical and like 5-second test it, all right? So during a 5-second test, you see a site, a design, or in this case a portfolio. And in 5 seconds, I have to have a good impression of your portfolio in order to dig deeper and understand your thought process. If it's too text heavy, if it's not very engaging, or you don't pay attention, for example, the whole presentation of the portfolio, then it can easily backfire. You should think like a designer who is about to hire another designer, or an employer, or your client, okay? So imagine that you're opening up your portfolio. Make sure that the most important stuff is easily accessible. Get their attention and lure them in to spend more time with your portfolio. If you do that right, they just invite you for an interview or they want to talk to you, and you have plenty of time to showcase your talent. What I often say to designers, imagine that you have a presentation, like a 20-minute presentation of yourself. It's built up with beautiful slides, you have great stories, you have humor in it and all that. But you only have the time frame that somebody would just walk by, and whatever they caught in that few seconds, that's their takeaway. That's what they will know about your portfolio. So in this sense, it doesn't matter that you have a beautiful presentation if they only hear just 1 second out of it. Make sure that those few seconds are really, make them count, okay? When it comes to tools, I must say there's no perfect solution, or other words, there are multiple solutions out there how you can showcase your portfolio. To be honest, it's not about the tools, how you make it. You can use multiple platforms and tools to build up your portfolios. But the most used ones, obviously there's Behance, which is like a designer community social site. And the good thing in Behance is that you have the ability to upload large images, even add texts and links to your portfolio. My advice to Behance is that to never forget that it's all about the visuality. For example, if you're a UX designer, you can show how you started the project, met that business goals, build up the personas, but never forget that this is all primarily Behance's visual. So you need to show great mockups, and the whole presentation of the Behance slide or designer, whatever you want to call it, has to be great. Another platform is Dribbble, which is, I think, the most elite design platform, because you can only post if you have an invitation from other designer from Dribbble. But if you're a member, you can access the playbook feature, which is essentially a way to build up your portfolio. But the biggest limitation of Dribbble is that you can only post those 800 by 600 pixel images, and you don't have that a lot of space to showcase, for example, a thought process. It's really like a show and tell, and to hook your visitors, hook your clients, and grab their attention. But it also kind of validates you as well as a designer. So having a Dribbble presence, it's like having a Facebook page for a business, except the fact that if you have a Facebook page with one like and it's your mother, then it's not very good. It's bad for your reputation. On Dribbble, if they check on you, it doesn't really backfire if you don't have tons of followers. So because they look at it as a way to showcase your portfolio. So after this, the possibilities are really endless. I would advise to go for something that enables you to build up your portfolio like a website. So, but you can use some sort of WordPress template, or you can go after some online solution like Wix. I came across a very good solution, which I could recommend to you. It's called Slides. Now, originally it was a JavaScript library which enabled developers to create online presentations very quickly with great animations and transitions and all that. Now, then they realized that they could build up a great interface for it, so it enables you to create presentation. I like the idea of a presentation because that walks you through, like a thought process. So you can have the ability to zoom in, go into more information if it's necessary, or just to be on the high level and just go through the portfolios. For example, I have my current portfolio created with slides. The reason behind that is that I wanted my clients, my partners, anyone who wants to check out my work, to have a clear overview of the process I'm using, the 7-step process, if you will. But also, if they need more information, I wanted to let them to learn more about the user-centered business canvas, about the personas. For example, there's this slide called the product workshop. This is how I jumpstart a project. I sit down with the clients for 1 or 2 days and take the business canvas, the personas, the functionality mapping, the design brief, user journey planning, whatever is necessary for that project. I can really pitch it in one slide. And to be honest, if they're not interested, I don't want to bother them just explaining all the different deliverables I use. But if they want to, they can say, okay, like on a web page, they click on the user-centered business canvas, it pops up, it shows the canvas related to the project. Very quickly, I sum up what the outcomes were, and that's it. Very important takeaway on portfolios: the ability for me as a user to decide how much information I want, how deeply I want to go into your portfolio. Okay? About UX portfolios, one of the difficulties is to show your process. Okay? What I think it's a common mistake that designers go into too much detail, just to be honest, too much detail. Explaining every product discovery workshop, the user persona, how they created them, what were the takeaways, what kind of research they did. Somebody who often hires UX designers, I appreciate that, but to be honest, most of the time, I just don't read it. Because the way I'm thinking is that I want to see the outcome. I want to get some impression of how do you think, what your thought process is, and after that, I want to have you on an interview. I give you some exercises. I want to see you interacting and actually designing. Now, that leaves us with the fact of you have to be careful of how much text you are applying. and how much screen you have in your portfolios. What I always recommend is to have less, keep their focus, but always explain and describe the given screen, for example. So instead of showing 6, 8, 9 screens of a certain project, maybe show 3 or 4. Maybe show one process. They will get the picture, okay? But you have the ability to point out very important elements. So for example, take a set of screens from a mobile app. You can explain very briefly for every screen that why you chose that particular design solution or how they are connected together. And you can point out like micro stuff that's very important, for example, micro copy or choosing the colors, what's the theory behind that, or that you were looking or like watching out for accessibility. These are all good stuff, but obviously the more information you want to pass on, the less likely they will hear you out, basically. So when it comes to the process, I advise that in the beginning have a very clear overview, and the overview at the beginning is very important, okay? So you need to hook the visitors, you need to get their attention. So make sure that the first image that I see, it's very engaging, it's very important. A lot of designers make this mistake that they don't put enough time and thought into making it really pop. And if you lose me there, yes, I might scroll down and see the other designs, but chances are maybe I won't. So the second thing is that for every project, right at the beginning, I want to see what's your role in that project. What did you do? Because if you were working in a team or in a group, then obviously for me it's an important message as an employer that, okay, what did you do? Did you do the UX side and the US side or everything? Now, here comes another pitfall. Again, for UX designers, that if you did not do the UI, then be very careful about displaying it. Because if I don't know that you are not the one creating the UI and it's not very good, and I will think that you did it, then I will have an opinion about your UI skills. If you did not do the UI and it's not good, just don't display it. If you have the opportunity to make it better and redesign it, do everything. But this is a rule of thumb. Never put anything in your portfolio that doesn't look awesome, okay? So you have to have a good first impression, and you cannot make a good first impression if you have like bad UIs in your portfolio. So that was it for this episode. There's going to be a part 2 of this video. I'm going to continue to talk about portfolios probably next week, so stay tuned. If you want me to review your portfolio, then in the description you're going to find my email address, send it, and I'm probably happy to give you a feedback. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment sections below. Make sure you don't miss out the next episode, so please subscribe, and see you all later.